Don't fucking use your jack to keep your car up. I honestly think that's probably the ballsiest move.
You can actually, like, I have a big one. You can tap it on cement and it will give you a little tone.
This is the one other tool that you fucking absolutely goddamn need.
What's up, crew? Welcome to another episode of Prjct.POD, a podcast about cars and stuff around cars because they're awesome. In this episode, Justin and I dive deep into what we believe to be the ideal garage, and we break it down into 3 levels. Level 1 being the basic tools that you would need to perform most modifications and maintenance on your car. Level 2 being your entry into some of the specialty tools and accumulation of tools, and potentially getting into the storage of those tools, whether you want a cabinet, drawer set, or one of those awesome rolling chests that you could pretty much get a good deal on if you get the right one. All the way up to our level 3, which is you're basically ready to do just about anything in the garage. You might even have a lift, and you're just below I'm a race car driver and money is almost not a thing. So whether you're just starting your own personal project garage or you've been around for a while and your garage is like one of those Instagram reels that gets your gut, damn, stick around. I think you'll enjoy this one. A lot of tickets.
Yeah. Let's see if we're fucking winners.
All right. And I'm going to do the cheater way, which just means that we can fully check all tickets. And I got the app that you said to get.
There we go.
Click a ticket. All right. First one, Powerball.
It's me.
Read it. No, I got one Powerball. Nope. No, sorry. It's bad. How about another one?
That one was mine then. No, sorry, bad.
No, that's just one. Bought one a long time ago. This one is yours.
Yeah.
April 19th, Saturday. Yes. Oh. Can't scan. Well, why not? Hello. Nope. No winner. Last one. Mega.
Hit.
Nope. We're not millionaires. And at this rate, we're never going to be millionaires.
Back to the grind.
Back to doing things that require work. All right. Today's topic, and we're going to try to keep it short because short is the name of the game these days. And originally,
take your ADHD medication. Watch our 40-minute fucking clip. God damn it. This generation can't sit down for like 5 minutes.
This is true. Actually, it's funny. I'll say this quickly, but like I will still watch 10, 20-minute videos and even up to an hour if it's the right person, right topic. So we have listeners. There's actually someone who commented and it was like, it might keep me wanting to make this weekly as much as we can because he made the comment of like, oh, this is perfect. I put this on while I'm working on the E36. And I'm like, those are the people we need. Just put us in the background.
Yeah.
Listen to our nonsense.
You don't actually have to listen to what we say. Just please put it somewhere. Let it run so we can get money for...
You get paid for GTRs. Justin doesn't want to dance on TikTok.
Yeah, I really don't want to. I'm really considering shaving my legs and starting an OnlyFans with feet pics and whatever it takes at this point.
My God. I mean, I've also thought about like these AI generated OnlyFans. Anyways.
Yeah.
Our episode 10 was supposed to be, and is still going to be technically, about the Prjct.Garage, the perfect space to have for your cars. And it was going to be coupled with, I drove most of the way and then took Justin the rest of the way to Carlsbad to drop off my BMW. And that garage is a clean slate, which is exciting for me. And it might stay a clean slate for like the first month or so when we move in, because I might not take the cabinets that I have here. I might sell it with the house, less to move, which would be great. So I was going to take the opportunity to discuss what's the perfect setup. And this could also help us create or think about what would be the video of the different levels of a Prjct.Garage, right? The level 1 being the tools in a one rolly tool chest. Number 2 being pretty set up with most of the tools that you would need to do just about anything. And then the last one being sort of everything, right? You got a freaking lift because you got high enough ceilings and you can put a car up all the way.
You got a garage, like an actual shop garage, like that dude down the street from your new house.
Yeah, with the
which
20
apparently
vehicles.
isn't a shop at all. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know what's in there. I'm going to find out, hopefully. Damn, and I think I was going to try to create like a mock-up, and I didn't, so we don't have that. Let's talk about bare minimum of what you need in your garage to like be able to work on a car.
So I think this goes into different levels of what you're trying to do to a car, right? So while you might have grand ambitions for what you're going to do with your car, your garage will be a limiting factor on what you can and can't do for a majority of, higher end builds.
Yeah.
I would say if you are fairly proficient at working on something, or working on cars, you're going to have to invest into some mobile aspects or some jerry rigging aspects of kind of putting shop like tools. I won't even say tools. It's more like, I don't even know the right word. It's like stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you collect your stuff. This, I guess, like the level one is like you don't need to go necessarily and buy all the tools. You're probably going to end up doing it as you need it, which is
Yeah.
how we basically started. It's like, oh, I need to be able to take this thing off. It looks like a hex. I don't have those yet, so I'm gonna go get some Allens.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, yeah, I would kind of put it into like the garage level is really the level that you're working on your car, right? If you are doing basic maintenance, changing your brakes, changing spark wires, spark plugs, changing your oil, that level of work, you're going to get basic stuff. So you're going to have a basic, ratchet set. You're going to have a basic Allen set. You're going to have a basic hex set, some jack stands, get a good jack off the rip.
Yeah.
Like,
do
honestly,
not skimp on that. I can attest.
Yeah.
I actually have a video, and I believe it's posted, that in the time lapse, you watch the E36 just go like this, because I'm using the jack as a stand while I'm swapping a wheel, and I didn't put a jack stand under because I thought it was going to be super quick, and you just see the car slowly.
That jack probably is fucking gone. So yeah,
it was a Delco or whatever.
That's also something. Don't fucking use your jack to keep your car up. All right. Like,
that's a future episode right there.
Don't do that shit. Jack stands are relatively cheap. They're like $30-$40.
Yeah.
You can actually skimp out on a jack stand, get a cheaper one, and it's still going to hold up your car unless you have like a truck or a dually. And then what the fuck are you doing with that in your garage? Like, don't do that shit. But if you're working on a car, get some jack stands, $20-$30, in Pep Boys, AutoZone, wherever, right? I have a set from Pep Boys that I've had for like almost 15 years. Have never failed me. I have another set from Harbor Freight that are not, neither of these are expensive. They're like Pittsburgh and some other bullshit. They work great. Just get some jack stands. Don't rely on your jack to keep your car up. You're going to die, especially if you're in the car. You will die. It sucks.
Yeah. So I think to make this sort of like to round off what we're talking about right here, I think if you're level one, you're probably looking at, if you're moving or considering like the garage that you would want, you want to think of two things. You want space. So a single car garage isn't the best. You want to try to get a 2-car, but if you can't have a 2-car, you find the most space that you can. Flat ground is great, not a super messed up floor. And then as far as tools are concerned, the least that you can do is at least get a good jack, decent jack stands, and then one of those kits, right? 320 piece kit that has every socket size. Maybe it has impacts in it just in case you decide to splurge and get yourself an impact. But those two things or three things are going to at least give you because even an oil change requires you to jack up the car on every single vehicle.
Yeah.
You have to go to the drain. Yeah. And you're going to need a catch, of course, which might be in this base level, is make sure you have something to catch the oil. But that's like your base set right there, is a big, huge, all you can eat piece tool set and jack stands.
And quick pro tip, not even a pro tip, just common sense tip. Some people might not look at, if you can find a set that's primarily metric, because even American made cars are fucking metric. Like, I don't understand why
we made up the standard, but we're going to use metric because it's better.
I honestly think that's probably the ballsiest move the United States ever did. Is like, we're going to come up with our own measuring kit. Everyone else is using metric. The entire world uses metric. US comes in, it's like, we're going to make our own, and then we're going to call it standard, even though nobody else fucking uses it. This is standard.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they go around and they're like, oh, well, we'll just end up using metric because everything's produced overseas.
Yeah, everything, all of our parts that we like outsource to fucking Taiwan, they don't know how to use standards, so we have to use metric. So get it metric. And then the last two things I would say that you absolutely need at this base level. First one, breaker bar. Go out and get one. Yes. Those are also relatively cheap. You don't have to buy like a crazy snap-on breaker bar, right? Like,
yeah, it's gonna cost you the same as potentially buying a pipe that you can use to go around a ratchet and break, and it's gonna be more effective because it's an actual.
You're not going to be blowing ratchets left and right. Like, get a solid breaker bar, whatever, 1/2 inch or I think they have the 3/4 inch ones now too. But get a breaker bar, and then the very last one, which, like the jack stand, do not skimp out on this. If anything, this is the one that you want to spend money on, is a torque wrench. Get a very good quality, high quality torque wrench. It's gonna last you through the entirety of your car builds. It is probably one of the most important tools that I have ever bought. I had to learn the hard way. One, by not having a torque wrench and then torquing shit down too hard and breaking bolts and then having to fucking drill those bitches out. Two, buying a cheap torque wrench, torquing it on, and then having head gaskets blow, having shit pop off because it wasn't torqued to the right spec or back out. I went out and bought a high quality one. Has that changed my life with the way that I work on the car? So get a high quality torque wrench off the rip. Good jack off the rip. Anything else, budget if you want. Those two, spend some money. Get a $300 fucking torque wrench.
Yeah, and I would even say that there's not that many brands that don't have a cheaper option or are now cost effective just because of how our distribution system is, where just about everything is overly produced. Because you definitely don't want to skimp too hard on too many things. I've got a wrench set where one of them, I went to get it either loosened or tightened, and it snapped one of the sides of the mouth. Yeah. And I'm like, ow, why?
Yeah, I mean,
it was like one of the hand-me-downs that I had.
Yeah, and like they will, you're gonna break shit. I break stuff all the time. I've bent so many screwdrivers. Like, I mean, if you're rich and have the money, just go find a Snap-on dealer and buy the set. Right? Go spend $6,000 on a set of Snap-on wrenches or whatever.
Yeah.
But barrier to entry, like, you can go to Home Depot, go get Craftsman or Husky. Dude, I have a bunch of Husky tools.
Yeah, like, I love Husky. Husky's great. Yeah, that might be one of the higher quality ones in Home Depot.
Yeah, go buy one of those sets, and I have a Husky set that I first bought when I got the E36 12 years ago. Still use it to this day. It hasn't stripped a bolt, hasn't fucking slipped. Nothing. They work. It's fine.
Yeah.
So you can get a good budget entry or budget level ratchet set or tools that'll last you a long time if you use them right. Like, honestly, part of breaking tools is like, you're trying to fucking fit something into something that's not supposed to be there, and it's at the wrong angle, and you snap it because it's not designed to be that way. But use them the way that they're supposed to be used, they'll last you a very long time.
Yeah, and I think this is awesome because, level 2, level 3, I like to divide things into 3 just because it's always easy to consume. So we'll go into a quick 2 and 3, and usually that is a lot less than the first one because it's just like, and then if you have budget, level 2 is blah, blah, blah. This is going to be perfect for the move because if I do have a perfectly clean slate, then this video is going to have an incredible amount of value because I'm going to have an empty garage. I'm going to say level 1, I'm going to go out and get those things. Level 2, I'm going to go out and get those things and like build out this garage for this specific video. But I would say like level 2, you're probably starting to get into the realm of more specialty tools, depending on what you're trying to do. Like you said, if you're wanting to get in under the hood, there's specific tools you're probably going to use. Depending on the type of car you have, there might be specific tools. Like German cars typically have, what are they called? The Star Allens.
Yeah.
What's the flipping name of that shit? See, when you say something like that,
they're torques.
Torques, yeah. When you say something like that, it's when you always forget. It's like, what is it called? And then all of a sudden it's lost into the ether of life.
Like honestly, you just asked me, and I was like, I'm like, what is it? Because you said Star, which immediately, like, I started going down the list of Star, and I was like, that's not what it is.
It's not quite a Star. It's more so like a burst. When I'm working on my car,
like, and I've asked, when people are helping me, can you give me this Torx number, whatever? I know it immediately, but when you ask me, like, what is that one thing? Fuck, I don't know.
And then I would say with this level, you're going to, because you're getting specialty tools, you might broaden the amount of standard tools like an impact and impact sockets, specifically some of the other sort of tools that you can use, whether it be pneumatic or electronic. You're going to need storage too. So at this level, I would believe that you'd at least be getting the rolly storage that has a bunch of big drawers, a bunch of small drawers, and then maybe a top that opens. Or you can go as far as like what I have, which is 3 tall cabinets and 2 normal cabinets with a bench over it.
I would say like one garage level 1.5 would be the rolly bin.
Right.
You start to kind of acquire tools as you're in that phase 1 or level 1. And organization is so pivotal to
It's
working
so important.
on cars. I know, like, I've been to so many garages and they just have tools everywhere and it takes forever for them to find a specific tool. Be organized with your tool sets. Like,
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, Justin. You might be one of those guys.
right now, yeah, absolutely. No,
No, even
so
before. Wait, where's this tool? Oh, here's a bag.
yeah,
Looks like I hate to say it.
absolutely.
It looks like my mom's purse.
It's such a hypocritical thing to say because one, I am a pretty organized person to begin with. I have things placed where I need them. Like if you just looked at my desk, like it's very organized. And within my job, I have a lot of organization. But the reason why my tools are the way they are is because I initially, when I started building out my toolkit, I had no garage space and it was at my parents' garage, right?
Yeah.
I thought I would work on the car.
That's a good point.
And so I had to bring stuff there, or leave stuff there. And my parents, mainly my dad, wasn't the most organized person.
Yeah.
So he would use my tools and then throw them in. So it just never was worth it for me to organize it. Then
it wasn't correctable at one point.
Yeah, it was not. Then I moved into the house that I was at for a little while, for like 7 years, and I had planned on having like a legitimate, like I built out a dope workbench. I was going to have the tools in there. Like at one point I did have it organized where I had the tools on the wall and I would put stuff back and it was very, very well done. And then my cousin and my brother moved in and they started taking shit off the wall and leaving it on the bench. So I just gave up at that.
Yeah. And the garage became a catch-all and it was just impossible to like actually feel good about working on the car.
Exactly. So a combination of having to be mobile with my tools, because I would also take those tools to the yard. Like I had and I still have my chest, which it's not really a chest, it's like a sling one. That, you know, I will be going to more yards, you know, with us working on the E36s and you coming down, I will be going to the yard more often. So I'm going to build out that tool chest as a yard tool chest. So I don't have to really take anything out of it. It's just that'll be disorganized and shit thrown in there and we'll go with it. But I'm hoping with the new house that I moved in and now that I'm married and with kids, these motherfuckers will not be touching my tools.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah.
Not at least for like another 10 years.
Yeah. Well, Zeke, yeah, at least another 10 years. But, you know, I'm hoping that this day, you know, I can actually finally build out a garage the way I want it to be built out. And have my tools organized. So maybe that also is something, a video that we can make. Yours is
for sure,
slate, brand new. You know, you're coming in with stuff. Mine's will be reorganizing what I have. Because I also acquired my parents moved as well. My dad had one of those rolly chests. We've had that thing for like 25 years. There are tools in there and like random bits that I have no idea what they go to. And he gave it to me. I didn't really want it, but he gave it to me. And it's in my garage. It's sitting in my garage right now. I'm not going to keep that tool chest. That thing is gone because it's beat up. Like
it's old.
It's gone, right? But I need to go
flimsy
through that chest to see if there's anything worth keeping.
Yeah.
And so that'll kind of be my side of the video. If you do acquire something or you did get to the point where you're at, you know, phase 1, and you have all these tools and they're unorganized.
Move into phase 2.
How do you move and transition into that phase 2?
I do have a little bit of that too, because my garage is definitely more organized. I have specific tools categories within, I think, 12 or 10 drawers. But there's a couple of those drawers that, like the bottom ones is always the junk drawer. Yeah. Those are just, you know, that's the catch-all shit. And I need to go through that. And then there's also these tools that I have that I'm either never going to use or I have them just in case. Like I have an Ethernet crimper. I have a coaxial crimper. I have a screen replacement tool for like the screen door, the Windows screens, and they shouldn't be in my main cabinets. They should just be in a specific bag up high somewhere I don't need them. And when I do, I just grab the bag. So I do have an opportunity too within that video as like, maybe it's a bonus section, like talking about the 3 levels of Prjct Garages. Oh, and here's a bonus. If you got to a point where you collected tools and you didn't organize on the go, here's how to do it. Spread it across your garage floor and start eliminating and start organizing. Yeah. So that'll be cool. And then we can do a specific video with your garage and only focus on that, where it's the bonus becomes a full episode in your world, which will be kind of cool. So
it would be cool.
Yeah. Level 1, get the all you can eat tool set with the jack and jack stands at minimum, because those are the minimums to be able to do some of the basic upgrades, oil changes, fluid changes. Level 2, you start to get more organized, maybe more specialty tools, and you need more storage. So you start to buy storage to put those new tools into. And level 3 to me is like you're basically a mechanic within your garage. You've got enough space and enough ceiling height to potentially put a lift in your garage, or maybe you got space like mine on the side of the garage where my neighbor was like, "Oh, you should get a lift." And I'm like, "Ha, you haven't met my wife yet."
I think we could convince her.
Yeah, totally.
And by convincing her, I mean we
Do
go
it,
out and buy it.
Apologize later.
Yeah, when she like goes on a trip, we just install it while she's out on the trip and just be like, it's here now. What are we gonna do? Right?
Shoot, someone put this here.
So my thought process is, if you can get her to park on the left-hand side of the garage, like she parks there, that the way your house is structured, I don't think she really will ever see that side of the house unless she goes over there. So
it's in the backyard, the side yard.
Like she probably won't see that for a good like 2 or 3 months, maybe.
I don't think you know my wife.
And then just be like, that came with the house. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's been there for so long.
Didn't you see it in the walkthroughs?
Yeah, like what?
Yeah. And I mean, you don't even have to go for the full lift, right? So like your jack and jack stands are important for quick little side jobs, like popping up one corner and not worrying about the whole thing. Or you can get those floor jacks that gets your car up high enough from both sides and has the locks so it becomes a jack stand. Like those are pretty cool, but they're also expensive. Like that's going
very expensive,
balls deep into some tools.
Yeah, I would say like when you get to that level 2 and kind of into the specialty tools, but not so much specialty tools. They're specialty tools, but generalized, right? So you're looking at something like maybe car ramps so that you don't have to have it sitting on the jack stands for a long time. Engine hoist, an engine stand.
Yeah. Yes.
Potentially.
Yeah. Level 3 going into like pulling an engine, right? If you're going full more power baby and you need a hoist, you need a stand, those require space or storage.
Well,
but not everybody has those things. That's definitely like a level 3
I think that's more of a level 2.
Really?
I mean, because so the level 3, well, you need those things in the level 3. Really, the level 3, I would say, is you should be able to do everything that you do in the level 2 and the level 3. The level 3 just makes it easier to do, right? So like you get to the point where in your level 2, with the exception of maybe a few things like welding or like tire balancing,
right, or alignment or
alignment, but like pulling an engine, rewiring, getting under the car, changing out O2 sensors, changing out, piping, your exhaust piping, bushings, things like that. You should and can do that at level 2. I've done it. I don't have an engine lift. I've never actually put that car on an engine lift, or not an engine lift, but a car lift. I've never put it on any of that stuff, but I've hoisted that engine out several times. I've redone the bushing several times. It is a pain in the ass to do because there's not a lot of space. Usually the surface that you're working on isn't very, forgiving. So, it's painful and it sucks, but it is totally doable, right? With a lot of also the way that they've engineered a lot of these tools to be a little bit more mobile. Before like a bushing press was this huge freaking thing you press. Now they have one that's this big, and depending on which bushing you need to do, you can get a majority of the bushings on your car done, right? You can do a control arm through that type of tool. You can do, the rear trailing arm bushings. You can do subframe bushings on that tool. It just sucks, right? It's hard to get it to plant, and it's hard to get the right leverage on it. Whereas the bigger one, you pull something and it's hydraulic, right?
Yeah, I guess that's right. I guess, the idea of like level 1, you're really capable of doing most upgrades and you have enough tools to do the easier stuff. The second level, you're more capable. You have some specialty tools. You might even go as far as to have some of the bigger tools like an engine hoist and stand, and you're a little bit more capable. And then the last one is like you're basically fully capable with the exception of maybe even, like you said, the tire balancing and putting tires on a wheel. Like if you've got that, you might be past level 3. You might be,
you're a shop, you're a mechanic,
you're a race car. Yeah. You got a race car. You go all the time. You might even be a pro level, but I think that's a great breakdown.
Yeah. And so like it really, and that's why I kind of preference prefaced that shit.
Yes, that shit.
The garage levels based off of what you're really trying to do with the car, right? Like you said, level 1, majority of the bolt-ons you can get done with a level 1, right? You can do intake, you can do short shifters, you can do exhaust, you can throw headers on there, you can change timing belts, change your water pump, change your radiator, whatever, right? You could do a majority of that stuff. But when you start getting into like the nitty-gritty of the car, mainly working on the engine, right, which is the next step, you're going to have to rip that engine out for the most part. I've seen this done, and I don't know how they get it done. It's an absolute nightmare, but I've seen people take the head off of a block while the block is still in the car.
Yeah.
Not the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
Just because of the amount of debris that's around an engine bay, right? If a small amount of that gets into one of those cylinders, you're blowing that thing up, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend doing that, but I've seen it done. So even at level 1, you could be taking heads off of cars and, getting some stuff done to the head. But really level 2, you're ripping that engine out to either do an engine swap or an engine rebuild, or even going through and changing gaskets. For the most part, on level 1, you could change the valve cover gasket and the oil pan gasket. Those are pretty easily accessible, but head gaskets, oil filter, housing gaskets, those things require you to have space and really to get it done right. And so ripping that engine out and getting it kind of out in the open, that's kind of where I see the level 2 being at. On top of also the specialty parts like, ball joint separator or bearing separator.
Yeah.
Those types of tools you start kind of collecting. Like I have those tools. I think I've used them collectively maybe a dozen times. You don't use them very often, but it's great to have, especially
you need them when you need them.
The ball bearing,
especially that separator,
the ball joint separator. That shit is so fun. It just looks like
it's a tuning fork.
Yeah, it's a tuning fork. It's a 2-prong fork with a giant ass handle on it.
You can actually I have a big one. You can tap it on cement and it will give you a little tone.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it is a tuning fork. It truly is.
I went the more visceral route. I tried stabbing my brother with it a couple times.
It's not a stabbing tool.
Yeah,
it hurts. It does not stab.
It works pretty well. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think building out your garage is while we did kind of go over phases on what you could or should have, it really comes down to what you want to do with the car, right?
Yeah.
And then what I think a lot of people don't budget for with project cars is the tools required to finish the project, right? So as you're budgeting for, and I'm guilty of this, I did this with the Eclipse. When you're budgeting a part, let's say you want to do a short shifter, right? Go and look at the tools you have, research what type of tools are required or needed to complete that project and see if you have them. And if you don't, you have to add that as part of the budget, or else you're going to have a car just sitting there because you didn't have enough money to buy the tool.
Got cool parts to put on, but you can't put them on.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally about to just say that as the closing remark is at the end of the day, as with all of the videos that I hope to create in the future, or we hope to create, do your research. And that applies to building out your garage. And it really starts with what is it that you're trying to get done? And then I'd say every single time you start a project, before you order the parts, like suspension, if you get the coilover kit, that's a fairly simple installation, in my opinion, for most vehicles. But if you don't have the breaker bar, you don't have, look into those forums, like you've said in the past, look into those, ask those questions. What do I need to get this done? Someone might give you that heads up that if you don't have a breaker bar with that 30-year-old car or 20-year-old car that you're trying to work on, you were going to have a lot of trouble trying to get some of those bolts unlocked. And you don't want to rip a head off. You can spray as much brake cleaner in there as you want, but may not unseize.
This is it. This is the one other tool that you fucking absolutely goddamn need, regardless of what stage you're at. Do not buy penetrating oils. Do not buy that shit. Does not work. Get a fucking blowtorch. If you can put on a propane tank, that will save your life.
Yeah,
blowtorch. That thing has saved me so many fucking times. Blowtorch it. It's metal. It's not going to melt. It's not going to.
It's thick metal, and I can tell you
firsthand.
I
You're
really
fine.
wish I had recorded the whole entire stud conversion for the Evo, because there was a point where I had sprayed basically a half bottle of the
Liquid wrench or some
yeah,
bullshit.
liquid whatever, and it wouldn't break loose, and I torched it for like probably a good 2 minutes. You can get some things red hot, but nothing's gonna break. Once you let it cool down just a tiny bit, you hit it with the impact again, or you get the breaker bar out, and it's gonna unlock for sure, because heat will help loosen things up. It shrinks the stuff, or expands it. Yeah, it expands it. So it makes a little bit more room. But yeah, I think that's good. I think for those who get this far, stay tuned. I'm going to do this for my garage. We'll go through probably a few different videos before I get there. I'm going to do a little bit of design session, probably a top down camera or a screen recording, depending on how I do this, outlining how I'm going to orient the garage, because I'm also a firm believer that if you have enough space in your garage, you should have quadrants or segments, spaces, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. My garage right now is where I am at right here is my office, because I'm also a videographer, but it's also a place where I can sit down at one of the surfaces and do some designs, or I can do some wire work, with the tabletops that I have. Then I have my shop space. I have another parking spot that used to be a garage gym, but it's like, I'm going to do that for my future garage, which is a 20 by 20 ish space. I need a podcasting space, it has to be podcastable, but we're going to design that and then go into the move and then putting stuff into place based on these levels.
Yeah. I think it'll be really interesting with the way that we're going to kind of design our garages, right? And kind of give some ideas, because I agree 100%. If you have the space, quadrant it out, right? But there are a lot of people that have like a single car garage, or kind of in my situation where I do have a 2-car garage. That shit is not 2-car garage, bro. Like if I get 2 cars in there, it's going to smack each other. Yeah. So I do have to fit 2 cars in there at some point. So the way I have to design my garage is basically something that can be easily transitioned into what I need it to do. So like I'm going to have my workbench where I can work on, wiring and stuff. I'm going to be doing redoing the wiring on the E36, but I need to be able to quickly convert that space into something that I would work on an engine part, or, doing some sort of configuration on, an interior part or something like that. Like it needs to be able to quickly transition into something else. And how do you how do you go about doing that effectively with the space that you have? So we're going to kind of have 2 different garages with the same type of goal of working on the cars.
Or we may end up having a very similar outline. And I think I'll go into this in that first video where it's the importance of the design, because whether you have a 1-car or a 2-car, it's understanding how you can maximize the space. And I've already got an idea for you, which is what I already plan to do for myself, which is having like the workbench on wheels that goes underneath the main workbench that doesn't move. So when you need that flex space, you roll that bitch out, you lock the wheels, and it's on up and down legs too. So it can be a desk that I sit at, or it can be a standing desk. So it's huge. And that can be one of the best things for a single car garage when you need that extra space. You just back the car halfway out, or go park it on the street when you need to work on something bigger. Or if you've got a driveway, you put the car out in the driveway so that you have a space for the engine work that you're going to do. So all those things we'll definitely put into consideration when we're designing. Bam.
Do your research. We need to have like the banner, like it needs to be like a reading rainbow thing, where it's like, and then it says, do your research.
Yeah. The more you know, but it's just do your research.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a shirt for sure, dude. All right, crew. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're not a part of the crew yet, consider subscribing. We have a lot of content planned, and it really is coming down to me moving down to Southern California, which is closer to Justin. Speaking of garages, this is a perfect opportunity for me to walk through those 3 levels as I rebuild my Prjct Garage. Right now, I think I have a pretty awesome space. If anything, my first episode of this series might be like a of a bitch. Well, if I was out of focus there, my apologies. Hopefully it's fixed now. I should definitely do a pretty cool episode of my current garage, because I do love how I built my space, and it really plays into the thought process of how I'm going to build my next Prjct Garage. So I'm going to have full clean slate 2-car garage, I'm going to paint the walls, set up my cabinets, have a bunch of workbenches as well as flexible workbenches. And I'll explain that in those videos. And then I might try to break it down into those 3 levels as I put the tools back into place and sort of talk about what we feel is your sort of level 1, level 2, level 3 in that video series. So we've got that one to look forward to, as well as I'm planning a new subsystem for the Tundra. Haven't really made a full decision yet because I've come to realize I might not be able to fit a 12 in, but I might just shove it in. I might figure it out. For anybody out there looking for the biggest system they can put into a Tundra, we might find it on this channel. Justin and I are going to start a dueling series where I'm going to wrap my E36 and he's going to paint his. We've already talked about his paint DIY situation, but we figured this might be a really cool opportunity for us to do something like Donut, where we do like a high-low. It's a great opportunity to see which one might be better for your confidence level. See it through our eyes. And then, of course, if you've been a part of the channel for long enough, you know that there's a lot of other content to come for my E36, my Evo, my Tundra, or Justin's E36. It's just a matter of time for us to get the budget, get the time to really dive deep into that stuff. And if all of that is not enough of a reason to become a part of the crew and subscribe, we're also doing a giveaway. It's our first of hopefully many. We're starting small with tools and we're going to grow up to hopefully, full garage space, or even dive into the world of cars where we get a perfect project car like an E36, E46, S13, whatever it might be, and package it with the first 5 mods we believe you should do it with and give it to you. And then you do the work. I think this is a cool, unique way to enter the car giveaway space and just do it differently, and also give you the opportunity to make some of these cool modifications happen. But our first one is a set of icon wrenches from Harbor Freight, as well as Daytona jack and jack stands. It's about a $500 value, I believe. So if you do win, you could choose that or the $500 via Venmo. The goal is 1,000 subscribers here. Once we hit that number, we're going to pick a winner. I've also thought about maybe doing an exclusive one for TikTok and trying to get to 10,000, but I'm not sure how attainable that is and how quickly. Still working on the production of that one. But anyways, if you're not new, you know exactly what to do. Hit the like button, leave a comment, share this video. Those are the ways that help grow the crew. And until the next one, I'll see you later, crew. I'm not sure what that sounds like. Is that like a jockey host or like a racetrack horse racing host? I'll see you. Anyways, go spend some money on that money pit.
Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I can laugh.